see. Hi, I'm Paul Roeland. I'm here to talk today about tech tools that non-techies so need. And you know why we need it? Because, as Brittany says, we're worth it. So, oops, this is not working. Yes, it's the internet, it's slow. Have you ever seen your colleagues sending Word documents around, and then sending them around again, and then finally sending the version 2.0 final, and then 2.0 final, no, not quite final yet. Wait for us, and then the wrong version gets put out. Word, I don't know who managed to convince people that this is productivity software. Probably in the time that is lost on this so-called productivity software, we could have created a true paradise on Earth. It is the most insane tool ever to work together. It's just not usable for it. So stop doing that. So what do some people then do? They say like, ooh, we're modern, we're like online, we're generation insert any letter here. And they go for like, well, we're online kids, so we use Google Docs. Maybe not, because these are strategic documents that you're working on. These are things that are valuable to you, but surprise, they're also valuable to other people. Because we're worth it, takes on a much more sinister note in the age of mass surveillance. Because, well, as we all know, surveillance is now ubiquitous because it's so cheap. And if you think that governments and big corporations that you're going against wouldn't spend just a tiny bit of money and a tiny bit of effort to get to know your plans, I have a really nice bridge in Brooklyn to sell to you. Your information is worth your life, basically. And putting it online is not a good idea. Because unfortunately, people think there is such a thing as the cloud. The cloud is a dreary warehouse in West Virginia. It is not an actual thing. So you don't want your strategic information there for others to read. So you will need to self-host it. And to effectively work together, I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but you will have to do some skills mastering. The first of it is learn Markdown or restructured text or anything. The idea is please don't try to shape your text as you're writing it. First write the text and make it look beautiful afterwards. Those are separate concerns and you shouldn't be mixing them because it doesn't do either of the functions very good. So learn to use a simple text editor. Any text editor will do. Whatever your favorite operating system is, there's plenty to choose from. And if you really want to work effectively, use Git. At this moment, you're probably thinking, Git? Isn't that what those crazy people down in IT use to do like programming and shit? And you shouldn't be using that for text. Well, let me tell you something as a programmer. Programming is just wordsmithing in another language. It may be a funny language, but it's wordsmithing. So you can use Git excellently for text. You can use that for English, for Dutch, for German you need more commits because it's longer, but it works for text, it works brilliantly. And what you get, it won't be easy at first to convince your staff, your co-workers to use it. Git needs a bit of training, but all tools need a bit of training. So give yourself a day to explore it and your mind will be blown. But it will take a little bit of experimenting if you're not a programmer. But with a little help, you will be collaborating because what Git gives you is a full history, like a full history. You can see exactly who did what and why. You can do commit messages. You can say, change this word because we're getting off topic. And you can see that back later. If you train yourself to do meaningful commit messages, you will have a full history of the text and why it was changed in the way it was changed. You can also work offline. You can work while on a train, while your colleague is in an airplane, and after you both reach your destination, you can actually merge the two things together. Try doing that by sending stuff around with email. It will never work. So you can actually work offline. You can branch out. Git works with branches. Those are ideas that you're working on. If you're happy with them, you can get them all together. You can merge. It's really, really, really effective way of working together. And later on, you can export it to HTML, whatever, send it to your designer to make it look pretty. There's tons of tools for it. Don't worry about how it looks. Worry first about getting the text right. So, Git. Use it for text. Shiny, happy people. And you even get more. Remember, we're self-hosting, so use GitLab, not GitHub, for your strategic documents. With GitLab, you can really install Mattermore, which is an open source Slack clone. Who uses Slack here? Quite a few. It's like the most amazing thing ever in the beginning. It cuts down on email, and then 2 months later, you get barraged by people just sending emojis, because, I don't know, Slack seems to do that, Mattermost does the same. But still, it will cut down on email, and email is just not the most effective tool in most ways. Next up, another tool set. Think of yourself as an agile team. You probably are already. Most of us work in self-organizing teams. Most of us are used to change being the only constant. Most of us are working with feedback loops. All of those things are integral to the whole Agile and Scrum methodologies. They're used for software, but there is no reason you shouldn't be using it for your own project management. Because if you're using anything else, you're basically trying to run a factory. Where you're saying like, well, producing a text, a key message is something like producing a car. It's not. Taiga is one fine tool for it. Oh, yeah. The last one is don't use Skype anymore. Skype is evil. It records everything you say. Use Meet.jitsi.